going to be here for another video today, and that is going to be my wrap up for the month of August. I read a total of 8 books, which I'm very excited about. I read so many. I did so good, and I'm so proud of myself. I read more than I did last month, which is also a win. Yes. But let's get into what I read. The first book I read was Lady Helen and the Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman. I tried to finish this by the end of last month, but I just didn't get to it. And this was the Render Reads book of the month for July, but I was very happy that they pushed it to August as well. So I was definitely able to finish this for the book club, and I'm very excited to have finished it. It's such a good story. I loved Helen, and Lord Castleton is like bae. I love him so much, and I can't wait for the next book because I need more development into like their relationship and everything. But I love how similar this is to like Downton Abbey and that type of life, and the description of what happens in this book is so well done, and having like the receivers and the deceivers and the demons and everything in this book was just so awesome. And even though this isn't the prettiest cover, because like, I mean, this chick's kind of funny looking, but I really liked the book, and I can't wait for the sequel, and I loved it so much. It was so good. Then I read Luck's Consequences by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this was another one where I read the first book, Opal, last month, and I didn't get to Origin until this month, and I was so happy to finally have read more of this series, because I have been sort of reading this series on and off for like a while because I just had like other things that have been coming up that I had to read. But I was so glad that I finally finished the whole entire series this month. But I was so happy to get to these stories, and seriously, every time I read a new book it gets so much more intense and so much more keeps happening, and it's just amazing how like amazing the story is. And oh my god, I love Katie and Damon. Their relationship is goals, man. It's goals. Then I read A Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton, and this was such a great story too. I really like desert fantasies. They had the bomb. They're the shit. I really liked it. I really loved Imani, and Jin was just awesome. He was a great character, and I really liked how she's a desert, like she's a sharpshooter. And it's really sad, this story though. She basically can either get killed or have to be married to someone who has a lot of wives, or get raped. Like, women are not looked upon as good things in this society. Like, they're not equals. And it's really nice that she decides to branch off and disappear, and she becomes part of this rebellion, and so much stuff is happening in this story, but it's really good. And what was cool is I put a photo of this on Instagram, and the author liked it, and I was like, oh my god, the author liked my photo, what up, yes. I was just so happy. It was kind of really cool. I liked it. Then I read Luck's Opposition by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is the conclusion to the Luck series, and oh my god, it concluded some shit up in this. There was so much going on, so much intensity, and I was really feeling that's like it wasn't going to end up going very well at the end, because everything was going to shit. It really was. Everything was bad, and in like the last 20 pages things were still like not looking up, and I'm just like no, but it got so much better, and I was so happy that everything turned out pretty well. A lot of bad stuff. I was not expecting so many people to die in this series, and it was just like kept happening, and I was like, oh no, stop, please stop. But I really did enjoy this story, and I was so happy to finally have finished this series. And I just like, where have you been my whole life? I should have read you earlier, but I didn't. Then I read Oblivion by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And this is the first book, Obsidian, but from Damon's perspective, and it was so good. I was actually amazed at how different this was from Obsidian. Like, even though it is the exact same story, just with different perspective, Damon has so much more input. Like, this book was actually a lot bigger, but he has so much input about, you know, his moral rights, what he should be doing, how he shouldn't be near Katie, he shouldn't be interacting with her, and how he really falls in love with her. And it's so interesting having this from his perspective. And she also did, and what's really interesting too, is an Opal as an ebook from his perspective, because then the next 2 books, Origin and Opposition, are like dual perspective between the two. So I really hope those end up being published in paperback, because like I never buy ebooks because it's too much money to spend. But I seriously hope they get published and I can add them to my collection, because it was so good having his perspective, and I just loved it. Then I read The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ardier, and this was such a good conclusion to The Wrath and the Dawn. I was so excited to be reading this. Like, even though it took me a while, like I had this sitting on my shelves for like I think a month since it came out, and I was so excited to finally have read it, and I loved it so much. And I also filmed a book review just recently. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, I will link that down below for you guys to check out. Then I read The Princess Bride by William Goldman, and this was amazing. And I didn't actually know that The Princess Bride was actually written by S. Morgenstern, and William Goldman actually, like, you know, tweaked it a bit and made it so that it was more child friendly and more just a fun story, and not so much about the political aspects of life and what that was what really the story was trying to do, is show off political and how people lived and everything like that. And what was fun is after I read it, I watched the movie, and the movie is just so great. Like, it's such a quirky, corny story, and I love it so much, and I was so glad to finally have read it. And then I concluded the month with reading The Problem with Forever by Jennifer Armentrout. I read like 4 of her books this month. I had a very big Jennifer Armentrout book because half of her books were this month's reading. Really loved this story. It was really interesting, and it was a great take on like what happens to people who have been in domestic abuse as children and how they evolve and learn and grow from it. And I really liked Mallory and Ryder, such great characters. The story is just amazing. I recommend that everyone should read this because it's just a perfect story. Even though it's sad, it's perfect. And I want everyone to read it. I loved it so much. And I also made a book review for this book, so I will link that down below as well. This is a stack of books that I read this month, and there's a lot of Lux and Lux and Lux in this pile because I just read so much of that series. But I loved all my reads this month. They were all amazing. I just loved it so much. So I ended up reading both my TBR books for the month, which is Rebel and Sand and The Princess Bride. I was very happy. I had one month where I didn't end up doing it, and it was just like, damn it. But I was really happy that I got to it this month. So I read them. I did amazing. Now on to the heart. So I did very good this month. I'm so proud of myself. So I read 8 and I bought 2. I got 6 up on this. That is a very good month. This is since Project 5, so 2 books is pretty good. But I do gotta say, I did kind of cheat a little bit with the Project 5 because one of the books that I bought, which was Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Walsh, this was the book of the month for the Court of Books and Readers, and I was really excited to read it, but it only turned up the other day and I had no time to read it, so it really annoyed me because I wanted to read it for the book club and I bought it, so I used up one of my 5s to do it, and I didn't even get a chance to do it because I had to read to be able to buy, so I ran out of time to do it. So I'm very excited to have this. See, mini book haul on the video here, but it's just, you know, annoyed me that I didn't get a chance to read and do this. And the other book that I bought was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir, and that I hadn't read enough books to buy, but I've made it that the Court of Books and Readers book of the months are going to be my exceptions of what I buy. So when I find out the topic, I'm going to buy that book, and I think it's justified because I have to read that book during the month anyway, so it's not really adding too much to my TBR because it's a book I have to read anyway. So that is going to be the new exception. So whatever else I buy outside of that is going to definitely be a part of the Project 5. So I only really technically bought one that was a Project 5, so I think I'm doing alright. I think I am. And now on to my TBR bin. Let's see what books I get to read. Check it out. Okay. This is getting smaller just because most of the books in here I've actually kind of like have already read. Like I put the names in, but I end up reading some of the books anyway. So, ooh, okay, there's like 6. I've got so many. Okay, so the first book is Golden by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I think that's going to be a really good read, so I'm excited. And Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Aldisanz. Oh, 2 great books. I'm excited. These are going to be good reads. I can't. This is going to be so amazing. Woo! So excited. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!